Welcome to No School Media. This time we're going to take a simple photo and going to spice it up with a little animation and puppeteering. Let's watch this. Let's open the image into Photoshop. Then we're going to activate the image asset. To activate this, go to File, Generate, and click the image asset. Then go to Layers, create a folder named Asset. The purpose of this image asset is you can generate PNG files within your layers without exporting them individually from the layers itself. After activating the image asset, make sure that you save your file in any destination that you want to. From there, it will create a folder where the generated asset will be. And don't forget to put the extension name after the layer name, like .jpeg, .png, .tif, .psd. Mine, I'm using .png. Now let's begin editing. Here are the images that has been created from the image asset that's been activated earlier. Now let's jump into After Effects. Now we're going to import the files that have been generated from Photoshop into After Effects. Also, we're going to include the original image as reference. Now let's make a new comp and name this Main Comp. Make it a 10-second animation and then 24 frames per second on 1080p. Then place the original image as reference. Put it on our main comp and then scale it down to fit the whole screen. Then place the image into the comp and align it with the original image that we've used. Let's pre-compose the water, Command-Shift-C, and then we're going to name this Water Comp. Then let's make one camera. Then we're gonna make all the layers in 3D. Now let's edit the pre-composed water. Double click on the comp and then let's adjust this to fit the whole screen. Let's increase the height of this comp so we could see more of the water. Once you're done with it, let's animate the water. And then we're going to use the puppet pin tool to animate the water. Let's put some 6 pin on the water so it's not really hard to animate this one. And by the way, we're going to use a wiggle expression on this one. After laying down the pins, let's animate it. Go to the comp timeline, open up the effects, the puppet, and then the mesh deformers. Inside the mesh deformers, you will see the puppet pins in the timeline. Let's open one pin. I'll click on a stopwatch, and then we're going to do the wiggle expression. Let's type wiggle, open parentheses, time value, comma, frequency value, then close parentheses to complete the expression. Experiment on the values so you could see different results that suits you. Now let's copy this wiggle expression and paste it on the other pins. Let's go back to our main comp and then we can adjust the water. After adjusting the water, let's move our layers into Z space. Let's go to a custom view and then separate the layers from here. Now let's adjust our background, move on the Z space, maybe like 5000. We're adjusting everything into Z space so we could see a little bit of the parallax effect when moving the camera. And then now let's adjust the boat and then the person who's jumping, so maybe a bit at the same level of in Z space because the guy was really jumping on the boat. And also just separating it from the water on the foreground. Let's go to the active camera. Here, once again, we're going to adjust the images like the background, scale it, and maybe match it up to the original image that we edit. After adjusting it, let's go back to our water comp and maybe rotate it a little bit slanting so it's not really flat towards the camera. After adjusting the water comp, you could see we lost a lot of details towards the camera because it's been spread out towards the camera. So we're going to retain the details using a power pin tool. Then we're going to adjust it again to match the original image on our footage. When you go to the custom view, you could see that everything has been pinned down towards the camera. It's always like this, especially on a 3D softwares like Cinema 4D when you use projection mapping. Maybe let's animate the boat using that same wiggle expression that we've used earlier. Let's adjust the anchor point of this boat and then we're going to put some wiggle expression on the Z rotation of the boat so it will automatically animate. Once again, try to play with the values that you're going to input on that wiggle expression just to get the desired output that you wanted. Now let's animate the person who's doing the backflip. We're going to use the same puppet pin tool on him. But first, let's keyframe his animation doing the backflip. Maybe something to do with the rotation and the position itself. Now we're going to use the puppet pin tool. In my process, I usually start with the joints so I could adjust the joints and then go work with it. Instead of putting a wiggle expression, we're going to do a keyframe animation this time, from the beginning of the timeline until the end of our timeline. And we're going to do some simple animation like bending his knees and shoulders and elbows just to give some life on the photo. After we did the animation, we're going to animate the camera now. Okay, let's click the point of interest and the position of the camera and set it on the start frame and the marker at the end of the frame. Okay, since this is 3D, we could do a little zoom to add some drama on the animation and the camera movement. And also to add some parallax effect that we've been talking about earlier. Okay, for the final touches, let's add some adjustment layer and then maybe adjust the color like adding some blue, raise up the blue and then also a bit of a green and maybe less of a red. And also we're going to make a new solid so we could add the vignette. Okay, and then double click on the ellipse tool and then put it on subtract. And then we're going to feather it out in the huge amount. And then switch it to multiply and then lower the opacity. And that's about it. I hope you have learned something here in No School Media. Please like and share, subscribe to learn more.